Hello everybody, I'm Gary Massa with Massa & Associates here at Pacific Sotheby's International Realty, and I'm back with my main man, Mike Campos at San Diego Funding, and we are going to be discussing, we're back to discussing the 5-part series of 5 reasons to buy or sell before the end of the year, because this is the biggest question that we're getting right now today. Number 2 is the race against the interest rate hikes. In the last video, we talked about the anticipation and forecast of interest rate hikes. Mike, what will interest rate hikes mean to our markets, to our buyers and sellers going forward into this next year?
Well, thanks for asking, Gary. You know, mortgage rates play a massive role with regards to the decision of a home buyer and a home seller to whether they're going to move forward in selling or buying. You know, as a seller puts their property on the market and interest rates increase, that affects affordability. So that means that the buyer pool of buyers that can afford to pay the sales price and pay these interest rates possibly might get smaller and smaller.
It does.
At the same time, home buyers that are out there looking at properties, maybe at their maximum possible qualification levels, are now going to have to start looking at possibly lower sales prices because the rates are up and the payments are up.
Right.
Or they're going to have to find a way to contribute a larger down payment to make sure that they can afford that property.
Right.
So I got this handy dandy chart over here. We'll zoom in for everybody.
Mike, explain what this chart is showing us here.
So as mortgage rates increase at a particular loan amount, the monthly payment on a principal and interest basis goes up.
Right.
So in order to maintain a similar payment at $700,000 sales price at 4.5% interest rate, in order to maintain the similar principal and interest payment, as rates go up, the buyer has to borrow less money. So in essence, every 0.25% interest rate increase, they're going to have to borrow 2.5% less money in order to maintain that same payment.
Well, Mike, I guess in short, or layman's terms for me, you know, it looks like as the interest rates creep up to what they're predicted to be next year at 5.5%, the home price for the same payment, they're going to have to pay $70,000 less. You know, that's a purchasing power, right? $70,000 less for the same house to keep the same payment.
That's correct. So, you know, we have to really start thinking outside the box. That's why you call this a race against interest rates, because the sooner you can get into escrow and lock in your interest rate, the sooner you can start protecting your monthly payment on that particular sales price. Or we're going to have some sellers come to the table and negotiate price reductions or other creative solutions.
Right. Now, I mean, again, looking back historically, this is just what happened in around March or April of 2017. Fed funds rate went up. Interest rates responded very dramatically in about 0.5% in a week or 2 weeks it went up. And then we actually buyers lost about 5% in their purchasing power. And we saw the market, so the sales prices have to start coming down. And when buyers started entering the market again was right around that 5% when we actually go back and look at where the values came down. So there had to be that equilibrium, or the prices coming down to meet what buyer demand was at that same time, which is why we started having, you know, price reductions at that point where we noticed our market has changed.
Yep.
So sellers and buyers, this is definitely consideration for you, and why it's a better time to get sold now as opposed to letting those rates dictate what your prices or what your affordability rates can be.
So watch out for video number 4, and I'll show you some tips and tricks to how to negotiate a good price, knowing that mortgage rates are on the way up.
With a win-win solution. Mike, I'm really excited to hear about that.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks again. We'll see you in the next video.